Chirpa. No means no. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. Today, I want to talk about Omicrons, especially for early and mid-game. We've been having this discussion on crate expectations a little bit, talking about early game and mid-game Omicrons, and the idea being like you accumulate the Omicrons at about the same rate early game as you do late game. That's just how CG's kind of designed it, and so people end up with this big old pile of Omicrons, and they start applying them to characters that they don't need to apply them to, such as maybe Chirpa or Hera. Hera has a crazy number of them applied, actually. Here, let me see if I can find this. Yeah, look at all that Hera has applied. There's also like these things where people apply these Inquisition ones, even though they're all leadership ones. You can only use one, and once you get Grand Inquisitor or Riva unlocked, you can use 0 of them, and it's just kind of a waste. People are dumpstering them, and then eventually you get to the point in the end game where you really need Omicrons. You don't have them because you've spent them on this kind of garbage stuff. And I want to make sure to help you guys know as well, though. I want you to know, if you want to apply bad ones or ones that are like kind of, at least by my evaluation, not good, then like please do. I don't really care. I want to give alternatives to you to be able to make good decisions instead of applying all 5 of these. Maybe if that brings you joy, if you love that, please just do it. I don't really care. I just want to provide alternatives. Like, you don't have to apply these Omicrons here, folks. So just want to make sure you guys understand what the idea here is. So if you want to see my ranking video on Omicrons, I'll update this probably either later in April or early May, once we have like a trench evaluation and some Cal Kestis characters and everything. But there's also this infographic you can find in my Discord server that's linked in the video description, and you can get that for free. Go to the Discord server and find the channel called Infographics. It's free. Obviously, this is a little out of date since it's February, but it'll be updated later this month or May, like I said. Anyways, just want to give a huge shout out to my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much for all of the support. I truly, truly appreciate it, guys. You are making so many good things possible. Thank you guys so much. I am very, very deeply appreciative of you guys. And folks, if you want to support the channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that like button, subscribe, comment, help me mount the algorithm, folks. It's a good time. Omicrons mount the algorithm, or something. Maybe just Poggle does. Who knows? That dude's kind of a weirdo. So let's jump in to this, folks. So first off, we have like early game. We're talking like early. You can get QuiGon pretty easily, right? You can, he's unlockable in the Galactic War Store, and you probably want to target Anakin as well, because Anakin's a pilot of a really strong ship. You can get that GET2 currency to unlock Negotiator kind of early on. You can, a lot of times now, you're going to be able to, if you can't get Ki-Adi-Mundi early on, which I guess is probably not that accessible, but if you can, you don't need him to be relics for this team to be good. But even if you can't get Ki-Adi-Mundi, even without him, this team still does really well. You can get Ahsoka, she's pretty easy to get and put gear on. And then Mace is also, like, all of these characters are very approachable, and Mace has good long-term viability in territory wars. QuiGon has good viability in GAC. You can take out teams like Darth Revan, or, almost, like most teams, Jedi Knight Anakin is just going to AoE and destroy people once QuiGon is dead. And so, obviously these are screenshots all of teams that I personally have, which are, high relics, but they work without relics. And, Mace in Territory Wars is super versatile. There's a lot of good to be gained by applying. If you want to put Omicrons on, like one for QuiGon is amazing. The Mace one you could maybe wait for a little bit, honestly. if you don't want to help your guild for territory wars, you don't have to apply it at all. I haven't done it yet, but it's a good one. It's a good one to apply, especially the QuiGon one. Wampa is probably the best one early game. He's a requirement for Jedi Master Luke and Jabba, because he's a requirement for Jedi Knight Luke unlock. And you can unlock him fairly early on, and even at like 5 stars without relics, he's still going to be able to destroy things. He also ramps so nicely. He does a lot of cool stuff. He also, early game, I mean, he's an off-meta counter to Galactic Legends like Sith Eternal Emperor, depending on what the team comp is. If it has like crew in it, if it has, with the 2-turn stun, if it has Malik in it, like you gotta avoid certain things and learn how to avoid it. But like early game, you're gonna see a lot of First Order teams. You're gonna see a lot of teams with like some random character plus Nest. You're gonna see, Sith Eternal squads on defense. And the awesome thing about Wampa is you only need to apply it to one character, and it's a whole squad on its own. Probably, in my opinion, the best Omicron in the game in terms of just total overall value, because it's so good in all GAC realms. And late game, I still use Wampa pretty consistently. Now, Treya and Savage are another good team to be aimed for. These are both GAC Omicrons, but Savage can go with a lot of different teams. He can go with, say, the Eternal Emperor and protect him from Wampa. He can go with like a Maul team. You don't even have to have Sith. Like, he does better with Sith for sure. You don't have to have him there. You can also have him hanging out with Treya and making that team like really crazy impervious, very difficult to beat. Treya is accessible from the Sith raid, which is accessible to early game players at this point, and you can like with Treya, you can split her up too. Like she probably isn't going to be as good if she doesn't have her other Sith with her, which, I mean, they're just marquee characters, so you can farm them whenever. But even if you decide you don't want to use her with them, the Omicron would be a little wasted, but you can still use her with, like, Nest or something like that. Lots of good uses for both of these. You can also put Treya with, like, a Starkiller team. There's a lot of good characters and ways to use these two to do stuff. You see Talon here, don't put her Omicron on though, guys. Not yet. I don't think. Not early game. Now, Starkiller provides a ton of opportunities for early to mid-game characters. So you want 2 on Starkiller at least, if you can. You want to use Unique for sure. That's probably, honestly, I said Wampa's is. Maybe Starkiller's is the very best. I'm not sure. They're both very, very strong, but the Unique makes Starkiller really good. You have to, like, if you get a Starkiller unlocked, you need to put that Unique one on. Like, that's just should be automatic at this point. And the thing is, though, he doesn't work that well in territory wars, because his Omicrons are all GAC, and once he gets to territory wars, he kind of just flops until, at least that was true until they released the Juhani-cron, which sounds really ridiculous, but Juhani is a character used to unlock one of the Rebens. I forget which one. And, she's a pretty worthless Jedi. She's a Cathar. Did you know that? It's a weird species of people. It's like cathartic just to hang out with them. I don't... That's not true. I'm just making things up. But here's the thing. Juhani is the one who makes Starkiller amazing again in Territory Wars. She is probably the best Territory War Omicron out there, because if you already have a Starkiller team, you just add Juhani, and suddenly that team is amazing again in a little bit different ways, but still very, very strong. And then you can also put one on Mara Jade, which is an unlock requirement for your Starkiller, and she's good in Territory Wars as well. You don't have to put her. You can have her and Juhani both on the same team with Starkiller, or you can just go off and make your own Emperor Palpatine Mara Jade squad. And like the squad that I pictured here is actually able to kill Grand Inquisitor squads that have Omicrons on them in territory wars. I've done it multiple times at this point against very well modded teams. They're really good branching out on their own, and so Starkiller adds so much versatility. Like, you can put Savage with them, you can put Malgus, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with Starkiller, and those 4 Omicrons to apply, maybe the entire Tirecron as well for Starkiller. Probably all worthwhile, in my opinion. Way better to just save them and throw them at these ones than to, apply one to your Gear 10 Chirpa. Now, honorable mentions. I actually have another slide after this because I decided these ones are all better than the one that I made an entire slide for. So, like the Boosh one, this one is more mid-game. If you've gotten Jabba and you already have a Relic 5 Boosh at that point, and Jabba's the most important character in the game. He just is. Right now, there is not a more important character than Jabba for tons of reasons. I've covered it in a lot of other videos. I don't have time for that right now, but Boosh, if you have Jabba, you have Boosh at least Relic 5, and with the crate raid looming, folks, we're going to have more information on it pretty soon, I think. We're going to want that Omicron on Boosh, I'm guessing. I don't know for sure, but you need to do a lot of damage to be able to help your guild, to be able to help your own rewards, and Boosh is going to potentially help you there. Embo is really good in territory wars. If you have Jabba, once again, he's not good on like some random bounty hunter team. Maybe early game he might be. Iden is a great one for early game because you don't actually need her to be relicked. I know I have her relicked on both of my accounts, and she's amazing that way because she's also a pilot for one of the newest and most awesome ships out there, the TIE Defender. But you also, if you have her at relic, or if you have her at like Gear 10, obviously you can't get datacrons for her or anything, but people keep targeting her and killing her, and she just keeps reviving and reviving and reviving because of the way her kit reads. You don't need her to have Omicron or to have relics. That whole team can be Gear 10 or something and still have it be versatile and good. Hondo is a great addition because you can just throw him on a random team, and him and his Omicron in GAC are going to make things more difficult as long as you can protect him early on. Once he gets to the higher levels of his stacks, he turns into a monster. He's ridiculous. And then Dash, he's one of those guys that if you pair him with like Vander Chewie or whatever, then his whole team is just unkillable. And if you can protect Vander Chewie, then you can eventually just wear the other team down. Very, very good stuff. Plus, he's a pilot for one of the best fleets, probably the best fleet in the game, the Outrider going with Profundity. So all of these are probably worth applying, including, you could also throw one on like Admiral Radis. You can throw one on Chrysantin. Once you've applied all the ones that I've shown you, you've probably unlocked some pretty awesome teams and characters, and like you're working on a Galactic Legend, you can apply the Omicrons. Like if you get Supreme Leader Kylo, you can apply Phasmas and for territory wars and First Order TIE pilots for GAC, and then you have a good solid base of teams to be able to use on both sides. So like both of these are pretty good, I would say. Finally, we have Zam Wessel, which I made her own slide, and then I was like, you know what? She's kind of just lost momentum, but she does make your team a lot faster. You really do want most of the bounty hunters. They are so foundational to the game. You need bounty hunters to unlock almost every Galactic Legend or big, like all the ships, everything. They're pilots of the best meta fleets right now, or at least some of the best meta fleets. They are they take out Galactic Legends a lot of times. They're able to do all kinds of things, and they're highly recommended. Zam is an Omicron that used to be so amazing, and she's just like, now speed is just not quite as good as it used to be, but she still gives 70-ish speed. You don't have to relic her necessarily, though of course datacrons are kind of nice to have with her. And then, the team that I'm showing, like Bosk is a requirement. He's a great pilot. Aura is a requirement for Jabba. I think Grief and Mando are the only ones that aren't required for anything other than like the legendary event for Beskar Mando, which you don't need them at high gear, but they're both pretty good. I mean, they're very good. They're transformational for this bounty hunter team, and you'll be able to use them in every game mode forever, guys. They're really good. So, anyways, that's it. I mean, just a quick look at early game, mid game Omicrons. Yes, I know you're going to be able to apply other ones, but keep in mind the ones that I showed you, because they're all better than Chirpa. They're a better alternative than Hera, or putting any on the Inquisition. Even if you have enough to do that, eventually you're going to find yourself squeezed and you won't have enough. And I want to make sure you do have enough. So that being said, folks, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Did I miss one? I'm sure there's a couple that were probably worthy that I didn't discuss. So I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.